Okay, so let's, like, open all of the new things. So, we start with Stellar Superconduct. Elemental reaction, Stellar Superconduct. There's no R here. When cryo comes into contact with electroelement under specific conditions, the special reaction Stellar Superconduct will be triggered, temporarily converting the surrounding area into the wondrous stellar glow domain. That's Hop Stellars. Oh, right, yeah, no. Anyways, when enemies within the stellar glow domain are struck by cryo or electro attacks, the domain shall seal the diffused elemental energy. What does that mean? Good question. Every 3 seconds, all sealed elemental power is unleashed and converted into buffs for all party members inside the domain, granting cryo and electro damage bonus, and raising the base reaction multiplier of their stellar superconduct damage, lasting for 3 seconds. Now, we don't know exactly how this works. Additionally, enemies inside the domain will have their physical res reduced. So, what the fuck does any of this mean? That is a good question. That is a very good question. I'm not sure, right? One possibility is that the increase to, like, the percent, like, the numbers on the damage bonus and the numbers on the increase base reaction multiplier get increased by the amount of times you hit with cryo or electro. That's kind of what this reads as to me. But we did have a leak a while back that it was just a fixed number. And I don't know if that leak was fake or if it's just that this is a weird description that doesn't actually convey properly. Maybe it's some kind of gauge that can be trivially filled, maybe. Can I run Yulo with Sandrone? I mean, you're not allowed, but... I mean, I haven't even fucking read her kit yet, okay? So, like, we'll get there. Anyway, certain characters gain the blessing Radiant Stellar Superconduct within the domain, powering their effects. So basically this is saying Stellar Superconduct also directly buffs some characters. This is a whole lot of nothing, honestly. This really doesn't tell us much, unfortunately. So we kind of just have to take a look at what the buffs are. Next is Qiqi. Holy, there's a lot of new things here. So, passive for the 30-second healing thing. The trigger chance is increased to 100%, and the cooldown is reduced to 15 seconds, which is basically saying, like, Qiqi will be a functional healer if, and only if you have Sandrone on the team, which is pretty funny. Like, this effect has nothing to do with anything Stellar, so why is that locked behind Stellar? I don't know, but oh well. It is what it is, I suppose. That's new, right? Reduce the cooldown of elemental skill by 15 seconds. Oh, so you can skill every rotation now. That's new, right? That's 100% new. Okay, that's good. Never mind. That means he's gonna be a functional healer, even without this thing then, which is good. So Radiant Stellar Superconduct, while Herald of Frost is active, all party members deal 50% increased damage from Superconduct, Stellar Superconduct, and Cryosphere. What's the duration on it again? It's 15 seconds. Okay, interesting. When the active character hits enemies, the Herald of Frost performs a coordinated attack. That's new, right? Yeah. Okay. And then, my god, bro, they're like completely changing her. That's crazy. Okay, Burst additionally deals bonus cryo damage considered as Stellar Superconduct reaction damage. So they are buffing the burst damage as well. But C0 Qiqi doesn't seem to get any changes to her energy gen, so that's pretty much fake at C0 anyways. Let's take a look at the con changes. C1, when Herald of Frost attacks, so whenever a hit from your skill hits an enemy, she regenerates 6 energy, up to once every 6 seconds, so that's generally about 18 energy per rotation. The C1 it's a double hit every 2 seconds? What's the frequency, actually, of Qiqi's skill again? It's 2.5. It hits a total of 9 times. Really? 9 times? So you mean, like, 8 hits, 8 double hits after the initial cast? Is that what you mean? I'll just fucking go press her skill, actually. You get 1, 2, 3. Oh, the first one isn't a double hit. Okay. So it is the initial hit plus 9 hits. But the initial hit isn't a Herald of Frost hit. Because they're not... Like, the 2 energy isn't being added to the coordinated attacks. Initial plus 8. That was initial plus 9. But yeah, the 2 energy is only to the Herald of Frost hit, which is the thingy. So you get 18 energy from this, and you also get 18 energy from this. So C1 is 36. You don't have full talisman uptime though. I mean, you do now, no? Oh, it's only 6 seconds. Are they changing the duration? No. Okay. You're right. You're right. Oh, the burst makes it 2, but that doesn't matter because you're not quick swapping Qiqi, right? Like, let's be honest. But like, maybe you N1 EQ and you end up with like 8 seconds instead of 6. Sure. Okay, so the C1 is like 10 energy, and then the Stellar Conduct version of it is plus 18. On burst, it's a 15-second talisman. Is it? You're right. Okay, so it is just the full thing then. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So she basically, with the C1, regenerates an extra 36 energy to herself. So you end up effectively with half, well, yeah, half the ER requirements. But I don't mean like you need to build 50 instead of 100. I mean you need to be at 150 instead of 300. Right? So basically, C1 allows her to burst every rotation, probably, and C0 just doesn't. 5, I don't think 5 is enough. A unit that doesn't generate particles with an 80 cost burst is just not happening. Is it full uptime though? The skill lasts 15 seconds anyways, so the mark being 15 seconds isn't a problem. She has an 80 cost burst. Yeah, for some reason she does. I mean, maybe the coordinated attack generates particles. Like, that's possible. It's a new thing, so it's very possible they give it energy generation. I doubt it, but maybe. No, but C1 is just like, just straight up fucking cutting in half her energy requirement on the burst. Like, it's insane. Like, Qiqi's burst won't be a real ability at C0 if the C1 is meaningful at all. Anyway, C2. Oh, shit. Qiqi's attack is increased by 50%. That's a big number. Okay. C4. Enemy marked by the Talisman of Preserving Fortune have their attack decreased by 20%. That's not new. Additionally, when healing is triggered, an additional heal is applied to the ally with the lowest HP percentage nearby. I think that is new, but no one cares. And then C6. When casting bursts, revives all down party members. Okay. Additionally, after casting burst, she gains 4 stacks of insight. When the active character triggers Stellar Superconduct, its damage is increased, scaling up to 600% of Qiqi's attack. Now, that's a pretty big number as well. Do keep in mind, though, 600% attack quills aren't as good as they seem, because most likely Stellar stuff doesn't work with damage percent. So, yeah, like, I think it's probably fair to compare it to Llama, right? Llama is 400 of her EM, 400% of her EM per quill. And EM to attack scaling is generally 1 to 2. So this is basically the equivalent of about 3 Llama quills. And you get 4 of them in total, so the equivalent of about 12 Llama quills. Llama gets, what, 36 right now? So it's like basically a third of a Llama burst, which is pretty good. But it's not as insanely broken as it might seem at first glance. But it is good, don't get me wrong. But then again, right, we don't have the formulas for the Stellar stuff, so very, very subject to change. Might be more because Lunar charges ×3. Does the ×3 apply to this, though? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. These are massive, by the way. Like, these are definitely the biggest so far. Qiqi might actually be a real unit now, but only at C1. I don't think C0 Qiqi will be a real unit. Like, I mean, maybe 50% is enough. Like, that's kind of just, like, as good as Diona, right? Diona gets 40% with, like, not full uptime. Qiqi gets 50% with full uptime. So, the upside Diona has is she actually generates energy, unlike Qiqi. And yeah, you also have the extra 200 EM, but, like, Yeah, like, okay, the one thing that's a little weird here is that, unlike Mona, the big constellation, like, C4 isn't really a big constellation breakpoint. The C4 is, like, completely worthless. And as much as I think it's very reasonable to assume a few cons on standard characters, especially with the selectors now, assuming C6 is a bit much. And, like, Qiqi basically doesn't change in power from C2 to C5, right? It's the C6 itself that's a massive boost, which is going to make it a little weird to evaluate her. Yeah, and even then, for Mona's C4, in practice, very often, the crit rate makes you overcap. So, a lot of my calcs effectively just assume Mona C2, right? Why is C1 so good? I mean, assuming her burst is useful at all, right? Which is an assumption, because we don't have the numbers for it yet. But assuming her burst is useful at all, C1 changes her energy requirement from 80 to 44, which is a bit less, it turns out. But maybe the burst numbers are just really bad and you don't care about the C1. Like, that could be a thing, too.
Goose on the loose!
Yeah.
Goose on the loose!
Goose on the loose!